whose turn in tonight? Step right up, folks. Your host here, your charming host from the airways of the Roaring 20s. Sit back, relax, and let's make a little magic together under the soft glow of the radio light. Now, we are going to continue on with some SCP tonight. We are continuing on with SCP-022 and 023. One of them one I haven't heard of. The other probably have, but don't remember. And the 023 is actually from another type of written report. Not a personal law, but an actual, like a written report like we had an episode or two ago? Or broadcast to? I don't know. I can't remember. Anyways, let's not dilly-dally. We have a short time tonight. Well, same time, just not one. So, SCP-022. I never liked March, even before the Foundation. There's something about them that feels expectant. Like the air is waiting for something to happen. When I got reassigned to Site Protected, I didn't think much of it. The memo was brief. Containment specialist needed for SCP-022. Object class, Euclid. Containment difficulty, manageable. Manageable? That's what they always say before things go bad. They want initial observation. They let me down 3 levels underground through 2 airlocks. Before stopping at a reinforced chamber, inside was a standard mortar slab setup. On walls, cold steel tables, fluorescent lighting that hummed overhead. But something felt off. The smell at first, not rot, not decay. Something wet. Dr. Hahn, the lead researcher, stood beside the observation glass flipping through his clipboard. You'll get used to it, she said, without looking up. What exactly am I getting used to? I asked. She nodded towards the freezer doors on the far wall. That. And then, as if on cue, the steel door marked Drawer 3-B began to rattle. Just lightly at first, a soft rhythmic hum or thuds like a heartbeat behind metal, then harder, louder. The table beneath it vibrated. Something inside was trying to get out. Han didn't flinch. It does that every few hours, she added. Something's alive in there? I asked. Something, she said. Phase 3, the first opening. By the 3rd day, I was numb to the sounds. The drawers thudded, occasionally, sometimes in a sequence, like footsteps walking along the wall. The staff avoided the room unless absolutely necessary. At 2:47 that morning, I was on observation duty when Drawer 3-B opened. No one touched it. The latch released on its own. And the drawer slid out halfway. I could see the shape of a human body covered by a sheet. Then the sheet moved. I froze. The form beneath it sat up. Slowly. Stiffly. A man's face stared back at me. Pale, sunken. His eyes were wide and unfocused. Mouth slightly open as though he was about to speak, but forgot how. He swung his legs off the drawer, stood up shakily, and took a single step towards the glass. I wanted to run. Every instinct told me to, but something about his eyes. He looked confused, like he didn't understand where he was. Then, as quickly as he risen, he collapsed. His body hit the floor with a sound I'll never forget. Like wet fabric sucking concrete. By the time security entered the chamber, the body was already decomposing. Day 5. Patterns. It happens roughly every 12 hours. A new corpse, always from the same drawer. We've tested DNA samples, fingerprints, dental records. Nothing matches any known person in Foundation database or public records. They appear fully formed, but dead within minutes. Sometimes they rise for a few seconds. Sometimes they just twitch. But always, they come from that same drawer. The room itself doesn't show signs of energy surges or temperature changes. But I swear, every time a new corpse appears, the lights dim just for a second. At 4:13, we recorded a subject that stayed conscious for almost 15 minutes. The body was male, mid-40s, heavy build, severe bruising around the neck, signs of strangulation. He sat up and looked directly into the observation camera. Then he spoke. Not a scream, not gibberish. Actual words. Don't let me go back. That was all he said. Over and over, growing weaker until his voice was just a hoarse whisper. By the time I entered the chamber in the hazmat suit, he was gone. Not dead. Gone. The body had liquefied into a dark, foul-smelling fluid that seeped into the floor tiles. Day 12. The smell. The odor in the morgue changed. Still wet, still metallic, but a lot stronger now, like ozone before a lightning strike. Tom called it a precursor event. No new bodies appear for 48 hours. Then all at once, every door rattled. Every single one of them. The sound was deafening. Metal on metal, shaken violently. Doors bulging as if something inside each one was clawing to get out. I backed into the hallway while the containment team flooded in, weapons ready. When the noise finally stopped, we opened the chamber. Drawer 3B was open again. Inside wasn't just one corpse. It was many. Bodies piled, fused together. Dozens of faces pressed against the steel interior. Mouths opened in silent screams. Their skin was wet and sick. Their eyes rolled back white. And in the center of it, a dark void pulsed. Like a hole cut into the world. That's when the lights exploded. Day 13. Blackout. I don't remember everything that happened. Just flashes of chaos, no alarms playing, the smell of burning insulation. A flashlight flickered across the mound of flesh in door 3B. And something moving in it. Crawling. Trying to form itself into something human. But failing. We evacuated. Han was the last out. we saw the chamber the screaming started. She didn't make it. We reviewed the footage later. For 11 minutes after the lockdown, Han's camera kept transmitting. She wasn't dead. She was talking to something. The audio is mostly static, but there's a voice underneath hers. Not hers. It was too deep to be heard. When I started the recording and boosted the volume, I heard it clearly. One leaves, one stays. 820. The replacement. They call it containment equilibrium. That's also its appearance. Door 3B hasn't opened. And the corpses have movement. The Foundation believes entity achieved balance. Meaning someone took her place. I've been promoted. Lead observation officer. Which means I'm next in line to be in the room. I keep telling myself it's superstition. That the drawer is just a dimensional anomaly, not sentient. But every time I walk past that chamber, I get this sickening feeling. Sometimes the temperature drops when I'm near it. Sometimes the metal on the drawers pulse. 824. Private log. I started dreaming about it. The more the drawers, Bond's voice calling me in. But in the dream, the bodies are dead. They're standing around the table, waiting. And when they turn, they all have her face. Every single one. Last night I woke up with the sound of metal sliding open. I swear it was in my head. And when I checked the camera feeds, door 3B was slightly ajar. No alarm sure, no movement detected. Someone whispered my name on the radio. 825, final log. I'm being transferred. At least, that's what they told me. Routine rotation. I don't believe them. But before I go, I want to leave this note for whoever replaces me. If the drawer opens, don't look inside. If you hear someone call for help, don't answer. And if you see lights flicker, leave immediately. Well, that's it for SCP-022. And I have to say, that is pretty disturbing, though pretty entertaining. So, I don't really have much to say on that one, besides that if there is ever actually some stories about anybody that has worked at a morgue, which I know probably a few of you out there have, please do leave. Give us some stories to tell. I bet there's some interesting ones. But we're going to continue on with SCP-023. We got 15 minutes left for the broadcast, so we got to get through it. SCP-023, the Black Book. Recovered testimony and incident report. Foundation classification. Pattern. Location of initial attainment. Redacted. England. I'm gonna have to get my crew to actually get us a sound for that. Recovered recording log. Agent Whitlock, Mobile Task Force, Psi-8. Gravediggers. Date. Redacted. Pawnee, redacted. Recovered from broken body camera footage at site, redacted perimeter. You can call me Whitlock. I was part of Psi-8, a team specialized in locating and securing paranormal entities across the British Isles. Most of what we deal with were residual hauntings, abandoned cult sites, or your occasional Class 3 apparition. SCP-023? That one. Was it supposed to be real? Just another legend? Entry 1. Arrival. We were sent to a royal village near a protected forest. A cluster of cottages barely standing against the wind. The reports were old whispers about a black dog appearing at a crossroads before accidents. Life stuck behind overnight, people disappearing from their homes without sound. It all started again about 40 years of silence. The locals called it the Devil's Howl. Red eyes, size of a bear, fur blacker than midnight. They said if you saw it, you or someone you loved would die within the year. Naturally, the Foundation leveled it SCP-023. Our objective: capture or contain the entity before more civilians died. We set up base in an abandoned church near the center of town. Its roof sagged, its stone wall covered in ivy. Despite the cold, the inside felt suffocating. Like the air was being pulled out of the room by something invisible. I remember Sergeant Rourke muttering, "Feels like standing in a coffin." He wasn't wrong. Entry 2. The first night. We split into pairs and began our patrols around midnight. The forest was unnervingly quiet. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I had a cough there for a second. It was stuck on my throat. No owls, no wind, not even the crunch of the leaves unless we moved. I was with Agent Harris, a skeptic with more muscles than sense. Here's a story, he said. Only a big dog some farmer saw after drinking too much. We reached a crossroads where the sightings were less frequent. A dirt path lined with broken fence posts and skeleton trees. That's when the temperature dropped. Our breath turned into mist, and the air suddenly metallic. And I saw them. Two crimson lights hovering in the darkness. At first I thought they were reflections. Harris raised his rifle. "Eyes," he whispered. Whatever it was began to move. Slow. While scraping against the stone. I stepped into the open and my body went numb. It wasn't a dog. Not really. His body was massive, its fur absorbing every glimmer of light from our flashlights. His mouth hung open in a snarl, rows of jagged teeth glistening as if wet with tar. That is a weird way of describing that, but I like it. It's weird. Those eyes. God, those eyes glowed like burning coals. Harris fired first. 3 rounds to the chest. The creature deigned to flinch. It turned its head toward me. And just looked. No scream. Oh wait, no. And he dropped. No scream, no twitch. Just gone. I tried to run, but every step felt like I was waddling or wading. Wadding through tar. I want to say there was some kind of is out there, but I'm not sure. I'm probably just not sure of that word. My headset filled with static. The comms died, and the world tilted sideways. I saw the creature vanish into the tree line. When Becca found me an hour later, Harris was still lying there, eyes open, pupils clouded. His face looked like he'd seen something that tore the soul out of him. Ooh. I don't know where that came from, but that was an unsuspected yawn. Entry 3, the curse. After After his death, the man initiated an emergency lockdown around the village. The church became our command center, but something was off. Everyone started feeling it. Shadows moving where they shouldn't be. Whispers echoing in empty halls. Reflection in windows that didn't match our movements. The locals who had fled began locking their doors, hanging iron charms on their windows. One woman told us, trembling, "It doesn't just kill you. It kills your soul." That night, Brooke and I reviewed the footage under my body cam. The moment the creature looked at Harris, the lens cracked on its own. No sound, no signal. Just a single frame of red light before total blackout. The rook pointed to something behind the beast, for just a fraction of a second, with a human silhouette, like a shadow wearing its form. It was a part of the dog. It was the dog. I didn't sleep after that. Entry 4. The church incident. On the fourth night, we stationed motion sensors and thermal cameras around the church. The forest had gone dead silent again. Around 2:14 a.m., one of the sensors tripped, and a massive heat signature moving toward us. Rick ordered everyone to hold position. I looked out the window and there it was, standing under the moonlight. Its fur didn't reflect anything. It just swung away home. And then the church bell rang. Nobody understood. It had worked through decades. The sound was, like if it was worn down and slow, like something heavy was dragging it across. And with each toll, the creature came closer. One step for each ring. I remember shouting for everyone to open fire. The window shattered. The air filled with gunfire, but the creature vanished between flashes of muzzle light. Suddenly, the smell of sulfur filled the air. One of our techs, Daniel, began screaming. His uniform was burning from the inside, as if something inside him was crawling its way out. When we pulled him down, his eyes were gone. Just two smoking holes. By dawn, only three of us were left. Entry 5. The exit. The man finally sent them back to extract us. The village was empty by the time they arrived. Every house had its doors open, every mirror shattered, even the livestock were gone. We left the church standing, but as our transport lifted off, I looked down and saw something moving among the gravestones. 4 legs, red eyes, climbing faintly through the fog. That was 2 years ago. Since then, everyone from that mission has died. Brooks' heart gave out in his sleep, Daniels with depleted brain dead. The others? Car accidents, suicides, disappearances, and me? Sometimes I feel like my time's coming around. Addendum 023-8. Summary. SCP-023 remains uncontained. Attempts to establish a perimeter within redacted forest have resulted in multiple fatalities. Exposure to direct eye contact with the entity results in death of the observer or a close relative within 1 year. Containment protocol. All reflective surfaces within a 30-kilometer radius of active sightings are to be removed. Any individual claiming they have seen a large black dog with brown eyes is to be detained, questioned, and monitored for 12 months. Note from Dr. Hargreaves. It does not need to chase you. Once you've seen it, it follows in ways we don't understand. Mirrors, shadows, screens, it finds you. The curse doesn't end with sight. And that is the story of or at least from report of SCP-023. I have to say, that's a very much lot like a telly show I like to watch. And I think you guys know exactly which one. If I were even mention name, I don't think I have to, because it has very distinct details and effects that tickle the brain, if that makes sense. But that, ladies and gents, wraps up tonight's broadcast. My deepest thanks for lending your fine company to the little corner of our airways, and until next time, keep your spirits high, your hearts light, and your radios tuned in. Good night, darlings, and may the stars treat you kind.